welcome to the Retro Release Podcast, the show where we go through the development and release of some of the gaming industry's most high-profile games, finding stories from development and chronicling the game from development to release. As always, it's me, Will, and I'm joined by Rob, who's sat across from me.
Nice.
Showing those cheeky legs.
You know I am. You finally introduced yourself?
Yeah, finally. It's only episode 2, though. You can get away with it.
Yeah.
Last time, if anybody listened, Rob actually had to say my name before I said it.
Yep.
Which is embarrassing, but you know.
Which, as a host, is always a good quality.
That's what you want. You want them to forget to say their own name.
Halfway through, who's this?
You get to an airport with your passport and it's like, who are you? And you're like, that's Rob.
I'm here with my guest, Rob. Doesn't really work through TSA.
Imagine introducing somebody, but every time you do, it's like you're on a podcast. So you're always talking like, hello.
You walk into a party, it's like, hi, my name's Will, I'm here with my guest, Rob.
And you're like, hello.
Yeah.
Would we walk around with microphones doing that just to like fill the immersion?
No, just whatever this is called.
A pop filter?
Yeah, just one of them.
Just one of them? Like holding it like a couple of, like a meter from your face?
Yeah.
Just
well,
like
one of them.
One of them, one of these.
Yeah.
Oh, nobody's going to know what that was, but they never will.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Secrets. Well, this week, we're going to be talking about a game which you've played more than me.
Which is a big turnaround from last week.
Because I played it more than you.
And I've not played it since I was 8.
But you played this one since you're probably like 18. I reckon.
No, I only recently started playing it. Started playing about 6 months ago.
Okay. Well, let's not beat around the bush any longer, because it's in the episode title, so everyone else knows what it is. It's Stardew Valley.
Is it?
Yeah. I said it to you before we started. Don't play this game.
Oh, I thought you were on about Temple Run.
Oh yeah, Temple Run.
Yeah.
That sick game for the iPhone,
iOS. No, but we're here to talk about Stardew Valley.
Yeah, we are actually, for reals. And I mean, as I was saying, you've played it more than me. So how long do you reckon you've played it for?
Hours wise.
Hours, yeah. No, seconds.
No, I've probably put about not that much, maybe about 30 to 40 hours or something.
Yeah, I've put like
enough to know my way around the game
Yeah.
and to know like how good it is.
Yeah, I know like the introduction and like, you know, when you're starting to get the ball rolling, like a lot of people say like 40 hours is when you really get into it. Like up to that, you're sort of just learning it. I played it for like 5 to 10 hours. But yeah, I really just scratched the surface, but you've actually played it.
Well, I put about 15 hours into my first game. And I know there's like, this is sort of probably not what they want you to do. But I thought that I was playing the game wrong. Because like when I speak to other people, and because I basically just went out and fished. Because you get so much money from fishing. So I just went out and fished and got loads of money off that. But then, like, didn't really build a farm. Just got loads of money off fishing and going through the mines. Mm-hmm. But then when I spoke to a friend who plays it, she said that, you know, she only builds the farm up. So I thought, I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah. Restarted
the game, and that's the one where I've got about 30 to 40 hours in.
And all you've done is fish.
No, it was more halfway through the game I realised that it doesn't matter how you play it. Like, if you play the whole game just fishing, you're missing out on a lot of the game. But you're not playing it wrong, essentially.
Yeah, we'll get to that actually. There's a point in the development about sort of the way that it should be played, which, spoilers, there isn't really a way it should be played apparently. So you know, spoilies. Also, we'll keep this in, but can you just pull the mic a bit closer to you?
Oh yeah,
towards the edge of where you're sitting.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. But so to start off with, I thought I'd read the game's website, because last time I read the game's Wikipedia plot synopsis, and that yielded some gold. But I don't know about this one. I think this is just good to sort of, so we can get a feel for, you know, what the game is and things like that. Mm-hmm. So the game's website reads, Stardew Valley is an open-ended country life RPG. You've inherited your grandfather's old farm plot in Stardew Valley. Armed with hand-me-down tools and a few coins, you've set out to begin your new life. Can you learn to live off the land and turn these overgrown fields into a thriving home? It won't be easy. Now, that's not what you want to hear at the end of a game synopsis. It won't be easy. Imagine if Dark Souls did that. I mean, it does, doesn't it? It's like, prepare to die.
No, but imagine like Dark Souls, a game infamous of being difficult. Yeah. And like a proper elite gamer's game signs off with, it won't be easy! Exclamation mark.
But no, I would say that probably encapsulates the game pretty well, to be honest.
Yeah, you know? I mean, honestly, there is a story to the game. Very minimal.
Your grandpappy.
That's literally it, though. Like, and there's like, obviously, once you can talk to people and get to know their stories, but you can play the whole game without talking to people. So, it's a bit like Minecraft.
So you could just live my life, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But, like, you can play the game without having to play through any sort of story.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what it is. It's just you building a farm, which sounds so bland on the surface, but
There's a lot goes into it.
yeah, and I'm sure we'll learn a bit more about
A little bit
development
more.
and what the game's like. But yeah,
And I thought I'd just list a couple of the things of like how the game looks and how it works. So I've said the game is stylized as a top-down experience where you can create a farm of crops and resources, venture into the local town to work, play, and socialize, or just explore Stardew Valley as you see fit. And the game is very much open-ended, so the joy of it comes from bettering your farm over time and doing it at your own pace. And I wonder if that's what you've found when you've been playing.
well, the main joy came from fishing, which I've made abundantly clear.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, the whole for me the fun of the game was it was genuinely just like how much you can do and how little you're told. So
A bit like Minecraft, I suppose,
it's exactly
without
the
the
same.
NPCs and
Yeah.
sort of mild story direction. I mean, Minecraft has a mild story direction, but I suppose
Yeah, I
Stardew
think,
Valley is a bit more centralized because it's a farming game. It's not here's a area of land, literally whatever you want you can farm.
Minecraft isn't a farming game.
But you can
It's not even a
farm.
crafting game. It's just an open world where you can pretty much do anything. Whereas this is heavily like geared towards you're gonna be a farmer and this is what you do.
It's like the farming part of Minecraft, but I don't want to say it is the farming part of Minecraft fleshed out, but in a way,
No, it is. I see you hit the nail on the head.
it's sort of you build upon the farming in like every conceivable way that you can. It's not so let's do loads of. There are lots of different things to do in the game, but it is mainly like you're living a life in a rural town and you farm. And those are the things it builds off. It doesn't build off everything under the sun like mining, farming.
Yeah.
I don't know, exploring. There is a bit of exploring from what I've heard as well, but
there's a mine in it as well. So
there's a mine. Can you
Yeah.
craft in it?
no, but
Why
you
didn't-
can actually.
Why didn't you call it craft mine?
Craft mine? No, but like, I mean, it's intricate in a way that's like obviously you've got the 4 different seasons.
Oh, it has seasons that I never
Yeah.
got that far.
Yeah, so there's 4 seasons as there are in real life. Mhm.
Wow.
But you can't grow strawberries in winter.
Oh, I see. So it's
Stuff like that. So you have like season specific crops.
So you have to grow things in the seasons that you can, and then stock
Yeah.
them up over certain things up over like certain periods
and
of time.
there's like season specific fish. For
Really?
instance. Yeah. So I don't know how that works.
So
I
winter
don't
fish.
know fishing in real life, but I'm assuming
Is there a little fish with like a little coat and a Santa hat that comes around at Christmas time?
oh, as it comes out. But no, I don't know if I doubt that's a realistic thing because fish don't just die for 3 months.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. I think,
but I think that's just to keep you going
in one
in the game.
body. Yeah, it's a game mechanic, but in one body of water, I doubt that over 4 different seasons you get different types
Yeah.
of fish. Like, I mean, you probably
Like-
do get different types of fish at different times of the year, but I doubt
in
it's...
like the sea, but
Yeah.
in a lake.
They just appear. They get airdropped in.
yeah.
Where are we dropping, boys? Just some fish just like land in the water.
Pretty much, yeah.
I would go on now to the conceptualization and development, as the game was made by one man who goes by the moniker of Concerned Ape. Okay, his name's Eric Barone, Barone, so I think it's Barone.
Barone. Barone.
Barone, but he goes by the moniker Concerned Ape, and in 2011 he graduated from University at Washington Tacoma, which is in America obviously, with a degree in computer science. However, he couldn't get a job in the computer science industry, so he gave himself one. He just decided, I'm going to make a game. He wanted to be artistic, but also put his degree to some sort of use, as most of us probably do who have degrees like myself.
Oh no.
Oh no, it's not going anywhere, people.
Unlike my degree,
Life.
the non-existent one.
Yeah, it's probably about as useful as mine, to be honest. But so he wanted to bring together his sort of artistic skill. He didn't want to be trapped in a job, for example, that was just his degree. So he wouldn't want to do a science degree and then just be trapped working in a lab. He wanted to like do something more creative. So he decided to make a game. But he decided to do it on his own, which I think there's not really. Can you think of any other like developers who make games on their own? I can't really think. I know like you have small indie teams of like 2 or 3 people.
What's that guy called that made FIFA?
Oh yes, Mr. FIFA.
Yeah, Mr. FIFA.
Just him.
No, the only thing that springs to mind is, and we've already mentioned it, it's obvious, but it's not one person, it's Minecraft. Where it was like
that was a small team when it
was
started.
a small
It's grown.
team. It wasn't it like 4 people?
I think so. Notch was like the big one.
Yeah,
on it. He did a lot of like the
but I can't think of
development and
anything where
creative
it's just
design.
one person.
Super Meat Boy is 2 people.
Is it?
I think I remember, and MDMR, the guys that make Cuphead, that's like 2
Oh.
to 4 people. That's not a lot of people. It's 2 brothers.
Wait, they made Cuphead 2 people?
I think it's like 2 people did the design, and then 2 people maybe did like, some of the other stuff around it. Yeah, because it's obviously 2 people making that game would be very, very difficult, and there's so many different things in there, like the art style,
That's
the game design, the music.
Yeah.
You feel like that means 2 people. You'd be covering a lot of bases.
It really makes you feel like a cup.
Oh, yeah, it makes you feel like a cup.
But just gonna put this out there before we continue. I think Cuphead is one we should do.
Cuphead is the one we should do, actually. Cuphead probably has a good story behind it, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
considering what the game is and how many people made it. I think for this show, I'll say it now, a lot of games which are either old nostalgic ones or ones where 1 or 2 people have made it, if it's a small team, they are probably good ones to do.
Yeah,
Because, they have probably more stories behind them.
So we're not doing FIFA.
We're not doing... Well, unless FIFA was made by one man, in which case we are doing FIFA. Or woman. Or woman.
Oh, woman.
Whoa, man.
Whoa.
But,
Anyway.
Barone says that he never actually wanted to make games, as when he was younger, he dabbled in a choose-your-own-adventure game and sort of music in one sort of package. So he did make a game for his band called 17 Colourful Feathers. That was the name of the band and the game.
Right.
So, and it's a point-and-click adventure game, and it looks like it's made in MS Paint with like 6-bit graphics. I mean, he was like really young at the time. He was in a band with his mates, and I played it. The music's alright. It's a bit loud, but, apart from that, and it is just a point-and-click adventure game, I have to admit it hasn't aged well, because I was playing it, and after about 5 minutes, I was like, I don't really know what's going on. You're just like a guy in a bedroom. I recommend you play it, anybody, because it's good to see, like, simple designs for games that can be made by one person who has a passion for it. But it's one of those things where when you go back, you're like, yeah. It's a good job he made Stardew Valley and said, that's all I'm going to stay.
We're happy that's his legacy.
Yeah, not 17 colourful feathers, the game. But no, it's nice to see, and it's a good thing to sort of put the rest of his journey into perspective. But I think on its own, it's just a point-and-click game that's clearly made by like one person who's like 20 or younger.
Yeah.
It's not awful, but you can tell it's like one person, small development team, one guy. But the music, as I said, even though it's a bit loud, the music sounds alright. I think that is something that comes through in Stardew Valley as well. Because he did pretty much all the music himself for that.
I didn't know that.
He did, I will get to it, because he got it published by a company, but he's done pretty much everything on his own. Especially before it came out. Some of the updates afterwards he didn't, but...
Got his mum to help.
His Mum, can you, I don't know, design this cat, please?
We need new texture pack.
We need new texture. Mum's like, do some crochet, and he's like, is it crochet? Crochet, Jesus. Crochet, like where you stitch.
Oh yeah, like knitting
And stuff like that.
With
Don't make it feel homely, get your mum to do it.
Yeah.
Well, Eric wanted to essentially make his own Harvest Moon game, saying to GQ, I like that you could have relationships with the townsfolk and even get married and start a family. That was something that you couldn't do in most games I played as a kid. And it made my experience much more personal, that you were living in a world where it felt alive, time moved forward with or without your input. As the series went on, he felt like it had lost its charm, so he wanted to make his own farming sim. Have you played any of the Harvest Moon games?
Get used to this answer. No.
Neither have I. I know what they're like. I've seen clips of them online and things like that. It is very much like Stardew Valley.
Yeah, for me, it's a bucket list game.
Yeah,
I'm probably never going to get around to it.
But I think if you're playing Stardew Valley, you don't really need to, in a sense that Stardew Valley is I would say probably the better version, but even then it's the same type of game.
Right,
it's a different art style. It's like usually 3D, but it is the very much like you farm, you have seasons, and there's a town and you interact. I think the Harvest Moon games, they're made by a Japanese company. They have more of a story going through them, but it's a farming game. You don't really need a story, do you? You just need to have a farm.
Farming tools.
And
some farming animals.
Like pigs.
And can you get pigs inside?
I don't know. Can you get... Maybe.
I'm not that far into it.
Oh, I don't know. You can get a dog.
Yeah.
But...
Which I didn't realise. At the start of the game, they ask you a little bit about yourself. Like...
they ask if you're a cat or a dog person, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
And it just turns up at your door.
Just
but I didn't realise that, like, if you choose dog, you get a dog. If you choose a cat, you got a cat. The first time I played it, I just thought a dog always turned up.
Oh, I see. But you just said you were a dog person because you like prefer dogs.
Yeah, and in the second one, I don't know why, but I chose cat in my second playthrough. And then the cat turned up, and I was like, I like that.
Oh, it's a nice little detail. Did you get to name it as well?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Called mine Yogi.
Yogi, like Yogi Bear?
Yeah.
Even though it's a dog?
I say I called it Yogi, it was just the name it gave.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, is it one of those things like when you name
can
a character,
change.
like when you name Link, it already comes up with Link.
Yeah,
and you can
yeah.
change it. It came up with Yogi. That's a good name for a dog, actually, though.
Yeah.
Yogi. It's a nice. Depends what type of dog it is. Do you know what type of dog it is in the game?
No.
It's probably like a lab, isn't it? You can imagine it's just one colour,
Yeah.
decent size ears. It's probably a Labrador. So he sprinkled in a touch of Animal Crossing's character and the open-ended nature of Minecraft into his sort of Harvest Moon-inspired experience to have like procedurally generated details, especially I think mainly in the mine in the game. I think that's procedurally generated. Do you know, you can go into the mine and you can get, so I think that's random, you know. Like
What does he mean by procedurally
Oh,
generated?
quick lesson on a gaming tip here,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. Procedurally generated means when something's random. So if you've played a roguelite, you know, where you go into a dungeon and you go through floors.
Yeah.
They are randomly, the rooms are like randomly generated and put together through like corridor. That's what it means. It means you have different assets and tools, but they all just get randomly put together every time you go in. So it's different every single time.
I can confirm that is what the mines are like.
Like Minecraft is procedurally generated. The whole world is. Yeah. So it's never the same. Everyone has a different experience.
Lovely.
Lovely. Are they like, what are the mines like in that game? Do they have like little mine carts and stuff, or are they just?
It's literally just you go in. There's an elevator. You go down. Or you unlock the elevator. So that's not the first thing. You go in. There's like a ladder. You go to the first floor of it.
Oh.
And then it's basically just you're in like a mine.
As you would be when you go into a mine. That's what you'd expect.
Pretty much. And like there are like little baddies in there.
Oh, little monsters.
Little
Creepy crawlies.
Little enemies. Little monsters.
I mean, it makes it interesting then.
Yeah. Which you have to bash with your sword.
Whack, whack, whack.
Wacky, wacky.
I can imagine it's just an animation of like a sword swinging across the screen.
It's literally just that.
Oh.
So it just does.
I mean, it's not you wouldn't expect it to have like a Mortal Kombat style combat system. It's ripping heads
You go
off.
from like just casually, farming wheat for a week, going doing some fishing, then ripping spines.
Screaming.
Yeah.
Just like that. That's how you like detox. The character detoxes in the game by
Like
just
in
killing
Sims
people.
when you get like needs and stuff.
Yeah.
Just like the stress level gets high, you got to go to the mines
Spines
and
ripped
just-
out. Zero. It gets higher and higher with the less spines you rip out of people.
But no, you basically just go into the mine and you try and find another ladder that goes down.
Oh, I see. So you've got to go through the floor to get to the next.
And
right.
every 5 levels you go down, the elevator, which I mentioned before, when you leave, you can go back. When you go back in, you can go to the elevator and go to every 5th level.
Oh, okay. So even though it's random, there is a sense of progress when you can leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
But every 5 levels, not always. I don't know why. Sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. But the 5th floor is like what would you call like a safe space? There's no enemies on there. There's nothing to do. You just come out and there's
what you might call a save room.
basically
Where you can like just relax.
This is basically what it is. But sometimes you get like what would you call it, like equipment or something. So you'll go, there'll be a chest.
You'll get rewarded, basically.
Rewards,
Yeah.
that's the obvious way.
You'll get equipment.
But after every 40 floors,
40, bloody hell.
yeah, I know, it changes. So I've actually only got to like floor 60, so I don't know what it changes to afterwards. But it goes from like a normal cave to
Spooky
like
cave.
an ice cave.
Oh, cool. So
Yeah.
every 40 floors you'd expect it maybe it's like a magma cave or something
And
like
there's
that.
a really good development in it as well. In the first 40 floors, the main ore that you can get is copper.
And
Then
it
it's iron.
changes as you...
Yeah.
Okay.
So the further down you get, the better stuff you'll get.
That's standard video game design, but
Yeah.
basically that's good.
But
Though.
it's a real grind to get down there. It's not easy.
I can imagine 40 floors is a lot.
Yeah, and because there's a stamina in the game, which you can like eat food and stuff to get your stamina back up, but you can probably only get through 5 or 6 floors before needing to go home anyway.
So you'd want to like buff yourself, and then you'd have to come back. It's like a loop,
Yeah.
gameplay loop. Yeah. Well, Barone said that he also wanted the game to have. Oh, Rob's. He's giving me. Oh, he's having a drink, ladies and gentlemen.
Cut this out.
Will we though? Maybe we won't. Maybe it'll stay in. Make it feel real.
Make it feel real, you know.
Make it feel like you're in the room with us.
Mm.
It would get a
My
bit hot in
bedroom.
this room if there was more than 2 people. It's already quite hot, isn't it?
We have the other 4 listeners. Jeez.
Get a room, guys. But no, Barone said he also wanted the game to have real world messages. So before the game starts, the player works for is it Joja Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know if it says.
Yeah, it is.
You work for the Joja Corporation, and they take your small town's charm and they basically turn it into. It's like when you have a small town and like Walmart or like a massive Tesco comes in. It's great for like being convenient, but the sort of the charm that your sort of little area has just gets lost. And you're working when the game starts in like a cubicle, aren't you?
Yeah.
And that's why because when your granddad passed away, he's like, take this letter, young one. Like, why does he sound like a Jedi Knight?
I don't know, you voiced him.
Yeah, true. But he gives you a letter when he dies, and he says, open this when you really just feel like beaten and downtrodden.
When you're proper depressed.
And,
like proper depressed.
Well, you know, when you want a change in life, and you open it, it's a deed to a farm. So I think that's how it starts, isn't it? It's the idea of changing your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, a dream that a lot of people actually have a lot of the time.
I think it's just it's a form of realism, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's you come home, you've been working at your office job all day. This is real life I'm talking about. You go home.
I didn't know what else you'd be talking about.
You boot up your Nintendo Switch or your PlayStation 4 or your the personal computer, that's what they call them. And you throw on a game. And you can escape. And that's what the game is about.
That's why VR is so popular, because it is quite literally an escape at that point, because there's nothing else going on around you. Yeah.
So like I think that's what it's going for, in that like this guy is bored of his life and he's escaped.
Yeah.
And you can also do that.
Barone said that he wanted to get people to feel like they could get away from modern capitalism and you could just chill. Because like that does happen a lot when you come home, but when you're living in a house and you know that you're paying it off and you're paying all these different things, if that gets in your head, usually I wouldn't say most people get massively stressed out, but you just sit there and you're like, oh, you just can't be bothered. But I suppose it's really trying to be like, just this game in a nutshell. It's just doing one thing and it's just relaxing. Mm-hmm. It's not a game you wouldn't say it's challenging, would you? Like it has its obstacles and things that you need to do.
The challenge is figuring out what you want to do.
Yeah,
it's not like we mentioned.
That's before. The challenge of life.
It's like Dark Souls, where like
you have a set goal and you have to get to the end of it.
No, like in that it's like you have to be a talented gamer to do it.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like anybody can play it.
Yeah, my mum couldn't play Dark Souls, but if I gave my mum a Switch, sat her down for like 10 minutes and showed her how to use the controls,
she could do something because there's so much to do. She could pick. Yeah. She could go, I want to just do fishing. I mean, I might say to my dad likes to fish. If I went, oh look, here's this game and here's all the different things you can do, and then he went, oh, I like fishing, I'll do that. And I go, right, give him the controller and go over here, take a rod with you, and just these are the buttons that you press, catch some fish.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, oh, I've caught this fish. Because I think anybody can
tuna.
Ooh, delicious.
A salmon.
Ooh, a salmon. Is that the only two fish that you know?
Carp. There's three that I know.
Cod.
Cod. I don't think you can get a cod.
In the game? Oh, are you talking about fish you can get in the game?
Yeah.
Oh yes. You can get bass probably as well, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get bass in most fishing games, or games that have fish in them.
Do you play a lot of fishing games?
No, it's like in Legend of Zelda you can fish.
Yeah.
So I'm familiar with it in that sense. A lot of Japanese games allow you to fish. Pokemon.
They eat a lot of fish, maybe they do a lot of fishing.
Yeah, they have sushi and things like that, don't they? And they have like lots of fish-based dishes and things, so you'd imagine...
Yeah, they just fish.
That's all they do.
Yeah.
How did these games get made? Nobody knows.
Anime, fish. Japan, fish.
Anime, fish anime. After starting the development from around about 2011, it took him up to 2016 to finish the game on his own. And when talking to, I think it's Gamma Sutra. I think you meant to say it Gamer Sutra. It's GAMA Sutra, but I'm going to say Gamma Sutra because it sounds a bit nicer off the top of the tongue. Well, he was talking to them and he said, I probably worked on it 10 hours a day every day of the week during development, and that post the game's launch he worked around 15 hours a day. This seems to completely mirror, to me, what you hear about today in the games industry, especially with the recent release of Red Dead 2, about video game crunch time.
Yeah.
Because there's, I think, slightly different off topic, but in terms of video game crunch time, there is two types. There's the bad one, which is like corporations forcing it on the people that work for them, and then there's the good kind, which is people that are passionate about making the game just want it to be as good as it can, so they put the extra time in.
Yeah.
And I think that's the latter in this case, especially because it's one person and he doesn't really have, a deadline. He's working on it 10 hours a day because he wants to. He wants it to be good and he wants to be in the zone. That's probably how he works. He's probably a workhorse in that regard, you'd imagine. But then you hear about people who make Red Dead, and it's like, oh, we have to work 100 hours a week, which is horrible. He wasn't. If he was doing it 10 hours a day, that's not even 100 hours a week. That's 70.
Quick maths.
That's what my degree's for. I didn't even do a maths degree.
For those who don't know, what's game crunch time?
Game crunch time. It's just I don't know if game crunch time is the actual term, but it's just the idea that, and I suppose this happens in most jobs, but it's in the gaming media a lot, where to get games done or just throughout the time, instead of working regular 40, 50 hour work weeks, people will stay afterwards. They'll sleep in their offices. It happens a lot in Japan. Because Japan has a culture, I don't want to speak too much on it, but Japan has a culture of people working long hours and feeling like they need to work and that kind of thing. And in the gaming industry, I guess it's just one of those things that's global.
Yeah. So, and it's if you work for a game development team as well, I suppose you're always making a game. So it's like when Red Dead Redemption 2, like you mentioned before, when that finished, Rockstar didn't just stop.
Yeah, true.
They're still making stuff. So you've got a deadline in sight, but it never sort of ends. It's like if you're at work and you can go through a stressful time, I suppose with game development, there's always a need for it. Yeah,
it's one stress to another, I would suppose.
Yeah.
But then again, I would imagine, especially in a lot of different places, that isn't the case. And because of how it's come up in the news recently these days and that kind of thing, I think like severe and negative game crunch is going to reduce massively.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a change in that.
Well, it's a big trend at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like the trendy thing to
talk about in
video
games.
It's a good thing to have a go at.
Yeah.
But it's like the trendy thing to have a go at.
Because it's overworking people. Yeah. And I think the big thing as well, a lot of the time people don't get paid for their overtime that they do as well in the industry, which is I think that's the worst bit, because it's like you work it, you get paid, fair enough, But yeah, so I've said after that, this would be a struggle, as we've just been discussing. It probably would be a struggle especially for one man. Think about all that, and then just one person making one game. So every different aspect of the game is in his head, and he's crunching to do it. It's not like, one person's like, I've got to handle the fishing. It's like Eric's like, I've got to handle the fishing and the dog and the mining. He's got to do everything. Yeah. So it'd be a nightmare. So what did he do? I'm going to see if you can guess.
Was I right? Did I get his mum to help?
He didn't get his mum to. He got someone to help though.
Someone.
Not in the development itself, but around 2013, a man called Finn Bryce, the director of Chucklefish, which is a video game publisher, liked the game so much, because when he found out about it and heard about it, because Eric sort of like would post online on forums and development and stuff, and he'd have some people following it and be like, who were interested in like Harvest Moon and things like that. And he liked the game so much that he contacted him and he was like, we'll publish it for you. Which I think is great, because it takes that weight off his shoulders. And it just makes things a bit more fluid and streamlined and a bit easier for everyone.
There's something at the end.
You what?
There's something at the end.
What do you mean?
If someone's publishing it...
it's going to happen, it's real.
It's
like, I suppose
tangible.
if you're making something independently, the worry is, once it's out there, how are people going to know about it, or is it actually going to happen? But when you've got a publisher, it's like...
A little bit like this podcast.
Oh! Like, if we didn't have Apple podcasts or anything like that, it's like...
It would just be something sat on the laptop.
Yeah, sat on the laptop forever. Mm-hmm. I'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
I'm done with it. A Vulture article talks about the games, and I've put in brackets afterwards, industry trigger word warning. It talks about the game's immersion, saying that this term brings to mind epic games like GTA or Morrowind. They're immersive because your character is small and is in a massive world, so there's so much to get lost in. And neither the Harvest Moon games nor Stardew Valley are particularly big geographically, so the sense of immersion feels different and needs to be approached differently as a developer. A sense of depth is accomplished in part by lavishing the game with visual richness. And I think that's an interesting thing to talk about, because immersion it's the trigger word for the gaming industry. It's just immersion has lost all meaning, I would say, because it's like getting lost.
Yeah.
But that's important as well, I think. And I don't know if you can be a testament to this, because you've played the game more than me. How does the immersion feel and work in Stardew Valley? What comes across when you're playing it?
I don't know. For me, the immersion comes from you fall into like a pattern of how you do stuff. Mm-hmm. So when you wake up in the morning, if it hasn't rained that day, so the crops aren't watered, you're gonna have to water every single crop you've got.
Okay.
Then you have to go into town. This is how I play it. Then I'd go into town.
Obviously, you can do it whatever way you want. Yeah.
But I'd go and check the daily board, see if there's any tasks for me to do. If I'm trying to like become friends with someone or romance them, you go and talk to them, go and find them, go and give them a...
As you do in life.
But like the immersion for me comes from this pattern that you seem to get in the game. So I would find that on certain day, like I don't know why, but I'd be like, oh, it's Tuesday. Tuesday's the day that I'm going to go to the mine.
You just gave a day.
Yeah, because I found that like I enjoyed doing everything.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the farming. I enjoyed having animals. I enjoyed the fishing.
So you split it up.
Yeah, I enjoyed
equally.
talking to people. So I did it in a way that was like, you do a day for a thing maybe.
Or however, maybe half a day, depending on how
Something
long it
like
takes.
that, yeah. But the immersion for me came from like, it was as if I had like built a mini life in the game for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I don't know.
A little bit like Sims, but Sims I would say is more detached because you're looking after people.
Yeah.
In this, even though it's top down, I was going to say like The Sims. If it's not top, it's your character's like a little pixel man or woman on the screen, and they run about and do all the things. So in terms of immersion, it's not like first person. It's like, oh, I'm in the world of Fallout New Vegas. I'm in this destroyed casino or whatever. I'm not that person on the screen, but I'm doing these things and I'm lost in doing these tasks.
Yeah.
You're a testament to the fact that it worked then, in a lot of ways. If you've, as you were saying, found your own way of playing the game, I mean, everybody else will probably do the same tasks as you, but you'll do them on different days of the week in the game. You'll have different ways of doing them, different people you want to talk to, because there's a good 30-odd NPCs in the game.
28.
Because you get a marker at the beginning, don't you?
Yeah,
you get like
I think there's 28.
There are quests in the game, because there is one you get at the beginning, which is talk to the townspeople.
Yeah.
Are the quests just like that, or are there some of them which are very like quote unquote story type quests?
A lot of the quests. So, little things happen. Obviously, I'm not that far in the game, so I can't tell you everything that happens.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the quests are just you'll wake up in the morning. There'll be a notification on your mailbox. You go to it, and like I can't remember her name, but I think she's called Leah. Someone who like it lives on like near the farm. Says like, I've lost my axe. It's Robin's axe. You have to go and find Robin's axe. And it's not like an actual quest. Like it's not like you don't go there and there's like goblins and gotta kill him.
Goblins.
Yeah. You just go and find it essentially and go and give it and she'll give you some money. And it kind of tells you where it is anyway. So it's just something to do.
Maybe is it one of those things where, let's say, the axe, for example, if it's, I don't know, in the mine, that if you hadn't been to the mine, it sort of gives you a reason to go to somewhere and discover something in the game. Like you might go past a pond and then it's like, oh, I can fish.
Yeah.
So it's introducing you to the game at the same time.
The only sort of story I know of, it's not really a story, it's just, I don't know, it's something to do, I suppose. But one day, after a certain amount of days, I don't know how many it is, you go into the town and the mayor takes you to like the abandoned building and basically says, like, I don't know why he tells you to go in, but you go in and there's like a weird little creature thing in the corner and it creeps him out and he's like, whoa, what's that? And then he leaves and then you leave with him. And then you go home. The next day you've got a notification in your mailbox off the local wizard. Yeah,
what?
The local wizard who
because every town has a local wizard.
They do. Who basically says like, come to me because I'll decipher the scrolls you found in there. And when you go back, there's like these weird little creature things. They're like cute things. They're not scary.
Mm-hmm.
And the point of it is that each room in the building has like a set that you have to complete. So you'll go on there and like there's the fish tank, which when you go onto it, there's like 5 sets I think, and it's like one of them is river fish, and one of the sets is ocean fish, and then once you complete all the sets, you'll unlock something. So I think I can't remember what they'll unlock, but like there's parts of the game where you can't progress that way.
Okay.
So there's a bus.
There's a bus.
Yeah, there's a bus.
Is that the bus you get there's a bus you get at the beginning to get to Stardew Valley?
Yeah, but you can't get back on that bus. But when you complete one of these sections, you can use that bus, I think, to fast travel.
Oh, to different locations.
Yeah.
In the map.
But that thing to do that, you'd have to play like a full year of the game. It's not something that just happens. It's like a long time.
Well, you know what they say. When you move somewhere, you can only use the bus after a year of living there.
That is true.
You have to walk everywhere or get an Uber.
Yes,
I'm just getting an Uber.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get an Uber to the pond.
Yeah.
It's 2 minutes away. I'm getting an Uber. I can't bother walking. Barone was very careful when balancing the immersion that we were talking about just recently with the game's actual content. He didn't want one to really outweigh the other. He wanted it to be like feeding into each other, sort of like a loop. Because as there were so many things to do, one might feel unprepared to tackle the game. So he said, I wanted it to feel overwhelming with stuff to do, yet you didn't feel stressed about it, just more excited that you've got things to do. Tying it back to the idea that the player should be relaxed when playing. As well as the game has a lot to do and takes you a long time, that shouldn't be a huge and daunting task. It should be something you look forward to, which I think is a testament to what you've been saying, to be honest with you. The way you've talked about the game itself and how they've done the different things. You've not once been like, you have loads to do and it's too much. It's like a checklist. Yeah. It's not. It feels more natural, I would suppose.
He did a good job.
You did a good job.
You should be proud.
Me?
No, him.
Him. Oh, I don't know why. I should be proud.
You should be proud of Stardew Valley.
I should be proud, yeah.
No, it is true. The fun of the game for me comes from how much there is to do and how you can't do everything in one day. So, for instance, like I'm saying, I really enjoy the fishing and I really enjoy going to the mines.
Yeah.
You can't really do both on the same day.
Because of the energy, as you were talking about. You have like an energy meter and it drops.
That, I think, is what keeps you playing. So you'll go to the mine, you'll go and do the thing and have fun. And then you'll think, I'll call it quits today.
Mm-hmm.
And, so I didn't say this before, but when you harvest your crops and get your fish and get your mining and stuff, you put it in a box outside your house. When you sleep, I think they word it in a funny way. It's like, I'll come and pick it up and I'll pay you for it or something daft like that.
So they give you money.
You get your money for your stuff at the end of the day.
If you don't need it. Because some of the stuff, resources you can probably use, yeah.
But if you sell your resources, you get your money at the end of the day. So for me, the thing that kept me, because I'm greedy, I'd go to sleep and I'd make 2,000. I'd be like, boy made bank.
Boys getting loaded.
Tomorrow I've got to make that again. Because it's like gambling, you know. You feel energetic. It's like, I've made money.
I mean, it's not gambling, you're just selling things.
No, I mean that feeling you get from gambling.
The rush.
When you get a big win. When you sell a fish that was worth 250 gold and you're like, then you have to go back the next day.
And get another fish that hopefully sells for more money.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I suppose that's the loop and the sort of good feeling that you get.
The loop.
But not everything was all roses and simple design tweaks, however, as Barone struggled with meticulous detail. His lifestyle struggled, but the game did not. Oh. The day before the game's release, he encountered what would be considered a game-breaking bug. And when he talked about this, apparently it was so stressful that he couldn't actually remember what the bug is. At this point, he just remembered that because it was the day before release, he was feeling absolutely horrid. He couldn't, deal with it. He did deal with it in the end and he got it sorted, but it's one of those things that he spent all night basically doing to make it right, to fix.
Yeah.
Which, again, sort of ties back to video game crunch, but I think he's passionate about it and it's the day before release. He just wants the game to be good, so props to him.
You can't blame him.
I
mean, if you find a game-breaking bug, you're not just going to leave it.
It'll be fine. Nobody's going to fish and get a £4 bass. Day one, everybody fishes and get a £4 bass and the game just breaks. Oh no, my game is broken.
No.
Well, now let's get on to the release and post-release. Because I think we've talked about the sort of different little stories and interviews that he's done before the game came out. Or after the game came out, sorry, but talking about before the game was released. So now it's worth talking about what the game was like reception-wise and what it's been like since from... It came out to 2016, 17?
Yep.
Yes, as I said before, 5 years. So, it's been out for a while, but it's still being worked on. And the most telling and important thing about this game would be that to see what people thought of it once it had been released. And all of Eric's individual grueling hard work was actually up for the world to see. However, there wasn't much room for any sort of critique because after the game's release on the 26th of February 2016 it came out. Metacritic congregates 30 reviews that average out at about 8.9 out of 10.
Wow.
That's good. It's very good. With all the reviews praising the heart, sheer amount of content, and how fun it is to get lost, get immersed in the game.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things we've been talking about, and what would you give the game? You can rate it however you want. 5 farms out of 5.
I give it number 9.
9 farms out of 9.
No,
a desolate farm out of a nice farm? I'm just going with a farm rating system for this one.
I'd have to give it. I'd give it like an 8.5.
Yeah, so that's very solid. That's like...
Yeah, because it's a solid game. It's really good. 8.5 farms out of farms. 10 farms.
8.5 farms out of 10 farms.
Yeah.
So there's half a farm in there that's... One of the farms out of the 10 is good, but not quite there.
Yeah, because for me, it's great. It's fun. But I just don't see myself playing it in 4 years' time.
Mm.
And that's what stops it from being a 10. Skyrim, for me, is a 10. Because it's great, and I've not stopped playing it since it was released. I can come back to it. I'll buy it on every device.
I'll buy it on my fridge. I'll buy it on this microphone.
I've got it on my Alexa. Literally.
Can you actually get it on your Alexa?
Yeah, that's the thing.
I know that there was the Key and Peele sketch that was a bit of a joke, but that's because they did it on the fridge and things like that, which obviously wasn't real.
But no, anyway, going back, for me that's a 10 because for me a 10 out of 10 is something that you will be able to play again over and over and over again. Yeah,
the experience doesn't impede itself on repeat playthroughs. Yeah.
Whereas I think Stardew Valley it's beautiful, it's great, and it's very immersive. Personally, I just don't think I can see myself playing it for like
forever,
1,000 hours, because it's fun, but there's a finite amount of fun I think you can have in it.
Unless you're the type of person that just like really, really likes to farm.
That's just not me.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's not me.
We ain't doing that.
It's fair enough. But even after release, this wasn't it for the game, as Barone still works long day. As we mentioned before, he used to work 15-hour days after the game came out because he was doing sort of bug fixing, listening to what he interacts with his fans on Twitter. So when people would say, "Oh, this is unbalanced" or "This is broken," he'd most of the time respond and be like, "Okay, I'll get it fixed." And usually he'd get it fixed within a decent amount of time, which I think that's a benefit of having one person develop a game who's like got a presence on the internet. There's a connection then between the developer and the player.
I think that's important to talk about as well, how close he is with the fan base.
Through the internet.
That's the only thing I really know about him, is that like you're saying, if you have an issue, if you ask him, he'll kind of get back to you.
Yeah.
Maybe not now because the game's so big and
the game's so big and
get back to everyone
for so long.
But he's so like, I don't know what the word would be. What's the word? Well,
what do you mean? He's interactive.
Interactive, and like he's active. He's just active on like
his platforms.
Yeah.
Where he can talk to people. Yeah, like his I'd assume his email and his Twitter and those kind of things.
Yeah.
But
his Bebo.
His what?
His Bebo.
What's Bebo?
MySpace.
Bebo's MySpace. What?
It's not. They're just old social.
Oh, you're just listing because I'd never heard of Bebo. When you said MySpace, I was like, yeah, I know what MySpace is. You got your top 8 followers, top 8
Stardew Valley tools.
Top 8 Stardew Valley Let's Plays. Welcome back to episode 600 where we're still farming. It's the same game. I don't know why you're still here, but that's fine. Yeah, so on top of that, with the help of the publisher, they would add more romance options to the villagers, add extra crops, quests, and different farms to choose from, which is because I got the game so late, it's when you start up the game and you can choose different farmlands. You can have like a basic one, more difficult ones to manage, or just like different environments, like ones that got more rivers around them and stuff. And then it also included an online multiplayer, which I think for a game like Stardew Valley is probably invaluable, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've not had a chance to play it together, but I'm sure we'd have a blast just being like, let's do some farming.
Yeah, I've never had a chance to actually try out the online, but I know people who have, and they say it's like they've had nothing but good things to say about it. It doesn't. Some games that I can't think of it on the top of my head, but like they're fun as a single player game, but when you try and put it as a multiplayer, it just sort of breaks.
Yeah.
Whereas this one lends itself.
A bit like the concept that went around in games in like the mid 2000s, which was like, if you just put zombies in it, it's better.
Yeah.
Which works for a lot of games, like Call of Duty, Red Dead. I was going to say Left 4 Dead, but that already has zombies in it. Left 4 Dead 2, more zombies. Yeah. No, that works, but yeah, multiplayer doesn't work for. Like, imagine doing God of War, but doing the new God of War multiplayer. That wouldn't work, would it?
It wouldn't work.
So some games are, but I suppose Stardew Valley, like Minecraft, because of the loop and the way it works, it's literally just have another person in to help you.
Yeah,
and do
pretty much
the same thing as you, doing the game together, basically. And one other thing that sort of happened post-release is, even though we've been talking about how Barone was basically saying that it's all about being chill, you know, it's meant to be not against capitalism, but it's meant to be, you know, you leave the capitalist world behind and you just farm and you just chill. It's not really about making money or having 24 hours of the day to do your own thing. But he found that what people did online was they'd make like spreadsheets on Excel where it'd be like, this is how much, for example, these crops together yield, or this is how much this is worth, and this is how much you can get in a day if you do it right. So it's all about, you know, maximizing, using
Profits.
spreadsheets and maths to profits.
Yeah.
You know, like the gnomes from South Park, where it's like,
Don't get that reference.
I'm not gonna. It's, if you know it, you know it. It's the one where they say like they have on these like steal underpants because they're stealing people's underpants, and then it just says question mark, and then step 3 is profit. It's like, we'll just make money.
Yeah.
But that's what people were sort of doing in the game, and he's not got anything against that. He didn't design the game to be like that, but again, it's sort of as he wants people to play it their own way. It's people playing it their own way, isn't it? You know, they're doing their own thing. That's how they want to do it.
I have to say, for me, profit was why I played the game.
Profit. Yeah, because before you were like, I made 250 gold and I've got to make more
Everything
gold.
he hates, but I don't mind.
No, I don't think he hates it. I think he's more just...
Yeah.
It's not really how he wanted the game to be played. But then again, when you make a game so open-ended, it's like, you can't make something like a free roam open world game and then when someone he plays it a certain way, you're like, didn't design it for that. It's like, you designed it for the player to do it their way. So if they want to make spreadsheets, they want to make spreadsheets. You know, it's fine. But anyway... Spreadsheets. This isn't it for Eric Barone, aka Concerned Ape, as he's currently working on another project, one based off another video game, but he's not said what it is. So, like, for example, if somebody was making a game that said it's based off Harvest Moon, you'd go, right, it's a farming game. So he's doing another similar thing, but it's going to be a completely different style and it's based off a different game. So he's going at it alone again. I think he's being published by Chucklefish. So, you know, from the get-go, and because he's made so much money, and the game's made so much money, it's successful. I suppose this one's going to be a bit easier, but he has said to people that he's not planning on changing his work ethic. He's like, 10 hours a day, I'm doing it. But I suppose if he wants to do that, that's fine, you know.
Yeah.
That's his life.
Some people are happy doing that. I'm not. I'd
and that's
work
fine.
2 hours a day, but...
Yeah. I work no hours a day. No. We're technically working right now. Oh. If you want to, because we're getting towards the end of the pod, you can follow Eric at Concerned Ape on Twitter, or you can see Stardew Valley at its webpage, and you can get, there's people's emails on there, things like that, and you can see the game for yourself in action. There's on the website, there's the journey from beginning to end of all the promotional material, so you can see how the game changed throughout time. It didn't really make massive changes, it was just like some visual ones and other things like that, to be honest with you.
I mean, it's pretty much on every platform as well.
Yeah, it's on...
You can get it on your phone now.
Can you get it on your phone? Oh, yeah, people will be playing that on the tram.
For $7.99.
$7.99?
Yeah.
And it's the full game?
I think so.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Hey, that's pretty good. No, but, you know, it's on Switch, it's on your PlayStation, it's on your Xbox, it's on your computer, it's on your Switch, it's on your phone.
It's on your fridge.
It's on your fridge. You've got no excuse.
It's on your Lucasade bowl.
It is.
It's on your guitar. You can control it by playing different notes.
Yeah.
No, it's not, but imagine if it was. Like on the
No, you probably could.
plastic ones. Yeah,
people can do that nowadays.
Or like when you see those videos of people playing video games, like playing a Donkey Kong Country game on bananas, and they have the bananas like, plugged into different wires.
I shouldn't like detract from what we're saying, but there's a video that I saw recently from like Minecon awkward encounters.
Minecon, oh god.
Yeah, and a guy's like going on about how you can play Minecraft with a guitar, and he's like showing people, and it's just not working.
Oh.
And it's just really awkward. It's pointless because I can't really show you the video, but yeah.
Look it up if you're interested in seeing awkward streamer moments.
No.
Also, last time I was around here, we're going to talk about this. We were watching a lot of games done quick because for some reason we got addicted to them. And there's some of them are quite good, you know, like the people on the couch and the person playing, they're all interesting.
Just to point out, that game's done quick, it's a speedrunning.
Yeah, they do like different events throughout the entire year. And they make money for charity, so we're about to rag on some of the awkward things that happen, but they make money for charity and you can't detract from that, so good on them.
And they speedrun Spyro 2.
Spyro, every game. Somebody speedrun Shrek, I don't know, Shrek Extra Large.
Yeah.
Shrek Extra Large. And watch that one, guys, it's like 20 minutes, it's brilliant. But So yeah, there's a speed run, and it's people playing Kingdom Hearts 2, is it?
Oh no, yeah.
And so he's playing Kingdom Hearts 2, and if you play
to sort of emphasize that these are people that speedrun games. So to speedrun a game, you have to play that game like 50,
all day, every day.
Yeah.
You stream it, people watch you stream it like 8 hours a day.
Kingdom Hearts is a game about Final Fantasy and Disney.
So,
and there's a certain type of person that would play that game.
Just bring these types of people together. The person that would sit and stream all day, and then the person that would play that type of game a lot. So just, we're not saying this person is exactly like that, but just get that sort of image in your head. So they're playing Kingdom Hearts, and you go between different Disney levels. But when you go between different Disney levels, you there's a sort of a Star Fox inspired on the rails shooter bit in space.
Yeah. But you can't speed it up. You essentially just have to survive it, and it lasts so long.
So they'll put somebody else on the speed run, not the person actually playing it, will just control the ship on that bit, while the person speedrunning does something completely different, which we'll get to. So that means they're free basically at that time, aren't they, to do whatever they want. They could
3 minutes.
They could donate. They could read out donations. Yeah. They could. But what else usually happens in the space of about 3 minutes, Rob?
My God,
and what is very, 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 very common in Disney movies?
Yeah, so they get up in front of an audience of 25. It's not a sold out crowd.
Like sometimes there are sold out ones.
No, but in this one there's about 25 people watching in a massive hall.
Yeah.
So it's already a bit awkward and cringy.
It's not massively awkward if they're just playing and chatting.
Oh, it's fine. But when he stands up and starts singing, Matt.
Yeah. Yes, they start singing Disney songs.
Yeah.
And there's the guy that's playing it on this one. He's not a great singer, and he's very like confident in himself, but he doesn't carry. And there's a girl there who's, I think she's on the couch in the speedrun.
No, she's just there.
She's quite a good singer, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's still a bit awkward, but it's like she's a good singer, so that's great. And then there's two other guys there who, what song did they do from Beauty and the Beast?
Oh, they do Gaston, but it's actually alright, that one.
Yeah, because
you can't rag on that one.
One of them is, as you said,
Gaston.
a classically trained singer.
Yeah.
And the other one's, I've not seen
Spike
Beauty and the
Vegeta.
Beast.
If anyone knows Spike Vegeta,
he does the other character in the song. LeFou, and he leans into like voice acting it really.
Yeah.
And they seem to have a good time, and it's a little bit awkward because there's not really many people there and nobody's really paying attention, but they're having a good time.
I think the thing that makes it so awkward though is that the people are there to watch Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, not to watch people. That's why I hated it. I was like, we're not here to listen to you sing.
You got up and left.
I left the room. I couldn't do it. It was horrifying.
Because for me, it's like the one where they sing Gaston. It's alright because they're into it and the crowd are into it because it's funny. But the one where the guy's singing like "Make a Man Out of You,"
and he's going for it, but he can't sing. That's the problem.
Just want to point out, this is a good speedrun. So if people are into speedrun, you should watch it. Don't let us win it off because it's ain't the singing.
Yeah,
also, the guy that speedrun it.
Skip the songs.
Yeah, the guy that speedrun it. I can't even speak. Speed runs it. He's really good.
Yeah.
So I can't rag on him too much.
Yeah. If for anything, just watch it for how awkward it is.
Yeah.
Watch there's probably a highlight reel on YouTube of it every time they sing.
It's awful.
Yep. So that was the development and release of Stardew Valley and another episode of the Retro Release podcast. So what did you think of the whole sort of story now that you've heard it and that you've actually played the game? What does it mean for you going back into Stardew Valley?
Fuck all.
You can find us at Retro Release on Twitter or email us at retroreleasepod@gmail.com. If you have any questions or want to recommend a game for us or just want to ask us a question, just shoot us up at one of those two places. And please don't forget to leave a review and subscribe if you want to. It really helps us grow and get noticed and things like that. So, yeah, thank you.